Hi everyone, this is Men's here. I'm playing the Tier 10 German heavy tank, the E-100 on Swamp. I'm not recording this live since I wasn't able to record this while playing, but I just thought I'd put it up since it's a pretty decent game on Swamp and I haven't done many of them. Now Swamp, from the northern side, I usually like focusing on the D line since I can support the middle and help the north out and move back south if I need to. Pushing across that southern bridge is very difficult from this side, unless if you have a little light tank, but even then, I really don't like doing it since more often than not, the enemy in H4, H5 is gonna be shooting at you before you can get into a cover. From the southern side, I do like to focus on the south first and then worry about the middle and the north. So kind of opposite from being on this team. Now for a heavy tank like the E-100 that isn't exactly as mobile, I usually just follow this little depression here over to D4, D5, mainly D5. In this match, there's going to be a Foch, I think, popping up at D4, and it's going to kind of freeze me, but it's still a very good spot to set up since you'll be able to be in somewhat good arty cover, but also be able to fire upon the north. Now I was kind of surprised with how many enemy tanks actually pushed across the north, since it's not exactly the easiest place to push in my opinion, since even though there's a little bit more cover since they updated the map, it's still basically bashing your head against the wall trying to push up that A line. Now, if you're in a tank that doesn't have a lot of armor, this spot doesn't really work too well, since even though you have somewhat cover from this little route here, you don't have much cover from people shooting you this way as you're firing at them. Now I was kind of ready to give up here, since I can't turn into the TD and I don't have too great of shots, but once the enemy pushes beyond this building here, you'll see that they start to become exposed and you have decent shots at them. And if they try to crest this hill over in the AB line around B3, you have good shots on them too. They start to get a little bit greedy since I was lit up, and they pushed, well, it doesn't help that I ammo racked him, but they started to push a little bit too far without dealing with me and get a little bit greedy. And I did say sorry to the IS-7 since basically behind the first road wheel on the front of an IS-7, if you shoot him in the side there, you can detonate the ammo rack. If you're basically the way he was going, you want to shoot the right side of the tank if you're actually driving the IS-7. Now the E-100 is pretty expensive to run, since you do need to use heat. The AP rounds don't exactly have enough penetration against most tanks you face, but it's well worth it. And I carry a bit of HE just to fling at tougher targets to get them out of positions I don't want them to be in. It's like against that JPE 100 there, I probably should have shot a HE shell at him since I didn't have a too great of a shot on him from there, but I didn't think to reload. Now, I saw that the Foch shot 3 shots, so he has a pretty long reload, so I'm going to try to take a shot at him here. And of course I missed, but I'm kind of being retarded here by being stuck on this little ledge, but a lot of people make the mistake of saying, holy shit, this TD has 3 shots, he can kill me, and then after his shots are up, they fail to actually push into him, when in reality he's not going to be able to fire on you for quite a long time. Now, a lot of people say the IS-7's a little bit underpowered, which in a way it is, but it's probably my least favorite enemy to face in this tank, since you can't exactly penetrate them too well, unless if you hit that lower glacis in the right spot, but overall the armor is good enough to bounce heat shells pretty well, especially if you hit that very large upper glacis. Now right here we're actually down by a tank. We had to match pretty much in our favor for most of the game, but right here we're kind of starting to lose it, and this actually helps me out here that he moved down from there. Since I'm actually firing down at him, it takes some slope off that upper glacis, and I was able to kill him pretty easily. If he came down at me from there, it would have been a lot tougher for me to get a shot off in time and to react. And that E5, I don't know why he was running away. You might as well try to stick it out over where the E-100 is. If you just try to run away with your rear to the enemy, you're gonna die 9 times out of 10. As you see here, the game probably, or it did play out like it should. Basically, the north team wins from D to A, and the southern spawn wins from G to K. So basically when this happens, you're stuck in a little bit of a predicament. If you don't own the middle swamp, it's kind of hard to push into the enemy team without being spotted, because more often than not you're going to be going across the bridges. So it's actually good here that we're able to get that tier 10 medium out of the way and the AMX, so that really hampers the enemy from moving around too much. Now at first I was thinking about pushing down the 1 and 2 line, but I actually changed my mind, since if I got over to the 1 and 2 line, I could easily be pinned down from the TDs. So I'd much rather prevent those TDs from pushing first and hopefully catch them off guard out of cover than actually push into them, since we still have just under 7 minutes left. And lucky for us, that E-100, I don't know why he pushed across the ridge, but he did. And that really hurt their chances of winning. And thank God I had an automatic fire extinguisher, or else I would have been dead there. But that T110E3, there's almost no way I'm going to be able to pen him from this range, since there's only a few little spots in his lower glacis I can hit to pen him, even with heat, and I've not enough time to actually aim in on him before he's able to obliterate me. So instead of sit here and let him push into both of the IS-7 and myself, I'm going to take a slightly longer route and curl around this little rocky outcrop here and get a side shot on the T110E3. It's a little bit risky, but at the same time I have that E75 and TD overlooking the swamp, so they'll be able to take out anything that's basically going to be firing at me, which will be the Foch, possibly. But head on, that T110E3 could easily take on both the IS-7 and myself and come out on top. Now, unfortunately I missed him there. I probably could have ended it by killing him, but unfortunately I missed. And right now I'm kind of saying, fuck, we're gonna lose this thing, but even if you're in a really bad spot, it doesn't help you to kind of sit and let the enemy come to you. You just gotta trudge on forward and take out as many people as possible before the enemy's able to flank you and get in a better position. Now, pushing through the middle of the swamp is not exactly great. I didn't really want to do it, but I was already down here. And the IS-7 was pushing through. He doesn't have good terrain resistance in the first place, so him pushing through kind of scared me, since that TD I figured would turn around over in E2, E3 and face us. So in my mind I was just seeing that IS-7 going pop and blowing up in one hit. Yeah, right here I'm gonna end up being killed, I believe. Only because the AMX is gonna start going back to the cap. And I'm gonna get spotted and killed by artillery. Which, it was kind of bad luck getting killed by the T-92 like that. He nailed me directly pretty much for a T-92. So he must have been pre-aimed there. I could have came over a little bit further where that dead E-100 is, and most likely survived. This IS-7 though, he almost loses this for us. Right now he's not capping. He's actually going to try to kill the AMX-50 Foch, which might have been a good choice, but at the same time it's a little bit easier to have him roll up into where we know he comes from. There's only two spots he can come. If he goes further south, which he does, he's going to be spotted by the SPG. And if he goes further north, the SPG is going to be sitting right there to shoot him. Which right here, he does get spotted. The object misses, but unfortunately, the IS-7 kind of hesitated and he wasn't going to push into him. And he completely misses because he rushed his shot. if you know that you can take one shot from a tank, always aim in. But anyway, thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also check out my website, wotguru.com. Link below in the video is the end battle screen for this, if you would like to see basically how well I did. But overall I did a little over 5,000 damage, I think, and I soaked up a decent amount of damage too. Thanks for watching my video.